Welcome back to the Pink Chair Confessionals. Today, I thought I'd share with you about a serious truth I had to learn kind of the hard way. It's all right to have it not all together. That's right. Today, I want to give you permission to not have it all figured out. Not now, maybe not ever. Maybe you're freaking out right now because the 17-year-old self in you strongly believes that you need to have a plan. I know when I was 17, I knew exactly what I wanted to do with my life. Ask anyone. I was obnoxiously certain. One of my early mentors still tells the story of how this confident 17-year-old walked in to an interview with this whole vision, like this front desk job is totally going to be the stepping stone for my master plan. And honestly, I believed it. And I did follow that path. I built a really good career. I knew what I wanted at 17 and still at 27. But I definitely didn't have a clue at 37. And now I finally know again. For now. And that for now, that's not a disclaimer. That's freedom. Because when you've gone through enough pivots in life and you realize that clarity doesn't last forever for it to be real. So if you're in the season where things feel big and scary and unclear, you're not lost. You're building something new. And if that season scares you a little, it probably matters. Let me tell you a little more, because clarity and I have a history. My hospitality career really peaked in 2007 when I was promoted to regional vice president. 27 years old, responsible for 8, 9, sometimes more properties. And it was a dream on paper and like a rocket ship in life. But at the exact same time, my husband and I were planning some really deeply personal things. We've been trying to have a second child and it wasn't happening. And then came this opportunity, this big job, this big responsibility, the plan, right? It was everything. So we decided, okay, maybe one child's perfect. Maybe this is our path. So I took the job. And 2 weeks later, because the universe has a sense of humor, I have found out I was pregnant. Did that slow me down? Absolutely not, because there was a plan. Because at 27, I knew what I wanted. I knew the plan. And we made it work. And I don't regret that for a second. But if you fast forward, it's been a little more than 10 years, that VIP role didn't always feel right. And so I went back to being a GM and eventually switched to sales because more predictable. Detours are what life is about. And they become like breadcrumbs. That job took us across the country, dropped us into a new community, introduced us to new people, and opened new doors that I didn't even know existed. And that's the place that I figured out the newest passion, what I really feel good about. Teaching, marketing, storytelling, all of it. And I couldn't see it back then. But if I look back now, the signs were all there. Breadcrumb after breadcrumb after breadcrumb. A trail I didn't even know that I was following. Have you ever looked back and realized a detour wasn't a detour at all, but it was a breadcrumb? Something that didn't make sense then, but makes perfect sense now? Seriously, if something comes to mind, share it in the comments because your story, it might help someone else today. And maybe if you have a similar story, different details, different characters, same theme, you'll understand. We outgrow the versions of ourselves. We outgrow our dreams. We outgrow all sorts of things. We outgrow the plan. And here is what I've really learned. This is what I want to share. Clarity doesn't come before movement. Movement creates clarity. Nobody gets the 5-year plan handed to them, even if we think we do. And you don't need a roadmap, even if you'd like to have one. You need a breadcrumb, a next step, a decision, not a destiny. And because I want to give you the framework and help you understand, here's the 3 things to think about to know you're not lost. You're evolving. If your goals don't excite you anymore, that's okay. If you're restless or unsettled, you're not in a midlife crisis. That's your intuition knocking. And if you start imagining something different but can't explain why, that's not confusion. That's just the beginning of clarity, not the end. When these things start to show up, they're not problems to solve. They're signals to pay attention. Right now, I know what you want. I have big plans. I'm excited. I'm building. I'm using that roadmap that I created for myself. And I also know 10 years from now, that might be different. And that doesn't make me flaky. It makes me alive, because for now isn't fragile. For now is flexible. For now gives you space to grow. So let me ask you this. Where are the breadcrumbs leading you right now? What's the one thing you feel pulled towards, even if it scares you a little? Even if you don't have the whole plan yet? Come on, share it in the comments, not for accountability, but for someone else watching, so they can see they're not alone. And if you know someone who's beating themselves up because they're really in a place that needs to change, send this to them. They're not behind, they're becoming. And that's where today's breadcrumb leads us. If you're evolving, you're not behind, you're becoming. I'm Samantha, signing off from the Pink Chair.